During Monday Night Raw, we got a huge announcement.
Because there is a baby on board.
And I got to be there for it.
Let's take a look at the charm for me, please.
We need y'all to proceed with caution because there is a baby on board.
Let's go! Congratulations, Naomi! Naomi is pregnant. She's having a baby. The crowd was chanting Baby Uso. And as half the internet's already said, Jimmy Uso did not proceed with caution. I had a lot of fun being at Raw that night. We saw all the big stars. We saw Roman, we saw Punk, Jay, Braun, Seth. I even saw a lot of you guys, and we did some interviews as well. So who do you love more, your mother or Omos?
Omos is my guy.
Wow, my mother's a visionary.
Oh, Mom.
My father's a revolutionary.
Omos.
And I am Seth freaking Rollins.
What's saying they're not the same person?
I was not expecting that answer. That was big brain. But the question on everyone's mind is, well, what's next for the title? What's next for the Women's World Championship? I have 4 women in mind that are the next best suited to be the Women's World Champion. And by the way, my 4th person is the one I truly think has the strongest chance of being the next Women's World Champion. So stay tuned. And none of them are Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. So the first one is Bayley, right? It seems like WWE wants to have a heel champion right now, while Rhea and Io, they're kind of doing their own thing. That's why I think Bayley would be a great new addition to that title scene and really winning that Women's World Championship. He has this weird persona going on where it looks like there's a heel turn coming, kind of has like a split personality disorder kind of gimmick. What Ron Killings is doing right now, but I can only think about Mojo Rawley looking into that mirror. It's like the first thing I think about when I think of multi-personality type of gimmicks. I don't know why. But it feels like WWE really wants a heel to be champion right now because, I mean, you have Stephanie Valkyrie, who's supposed to be getting a title match. I don't know if that's still happening. And after having Rhea and Io, who were baby faces all year long, it was about time we had a heel champion. So Bayley for a heel women's world champion in WWE. My next one's actually gonna be Stephanie Valkyrie. Now she has an opportunity for the title at Clash in Paris. I don't know if that still happens or not, or maybe it's just her versus a different person and maybe she does win the title. But she's been on fire since she joined the WWE main roster, being a double champion down in NXT and then coming up to the main roster, joining Money in the Bank, already going viral because of that move, obviously. And overall, her just being a fantastic pro wrestler. Her getting a title match, while I didn't feel like Naomi was actually gonna lose to her at Clash in Paris, at this point, does it just go to the next person who had a title shot coming up next? It would make a whole lot of sense, honestly. There's no women on the Raw roster that you can't work with to help mold her into a world champion. You have the likes of Bayley, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Kyrie, even running back with the Rhea and Io. That Stephanie already has the talent to be a world champion in WWE, so just giving her those feuds, those matches, to make her really feel like the biggest star on that Raw roster is very possible. My next one is actually going to be Asuka. Asuka is 1/3 of this friendship breakup kind of storyline with Io Sky, where her and Kyrie Sane are really just trying to get Io back on their side. Like, they used to be part of Damage Control together, but that all fell apart. And Io is making it very clear she wants nothing to do with them. So what's the best way to get back at her? Winning the title that Io's carried pretty much the entire year. Also, just having that end of year feud just being Asuka and Io for the title, oh my God. Even if you throw in Kyrie in the middle of it, a triple threat would be amazing. Like I said, with Bayley having a heel women's world champion makes the most sense right now. So she's a very strong contender in my opinion for someone that is already an established main event women's star in WWE, has all the accolades to back up why she could just randomly win a world title, and is also involved in current storylines right now that actually makes sense for her to win it. As we get to the final one, in the comments down below, who do you think is going to be the next women's world champion? I actually asked my Instagram channel, if you follow me at Malcolm Muscle, who did they think is going to be the next women's world champion, and it was very obvious they all wanted Stephanie Valkyrie. But then you also had a Rhea Ripley in the mix. It's always a safe option having Rhea Ripley as champion. It's not who I'm picking, but it's a very safe option. She's an established star. She's probably one of the biggest stars in WWE right now, no gender needed. People are also saying Raquel Rodriguez, another very talented woman. Her and Io had a great, just straight wrestling match on Raw, and it was awesome. I understand why you would want to put a title on her. I don't think she's there necessarily yet just for the world title, but if she's the next like Intercontinental champion, I'm totally down with that. It's not from a lack of talent, it's just from a lack of like time on television and singles roles. But here's who I think is actually gonna be the next women's world champion. To me, the person that fills in that role so perfectly right now, and also will make WWE have to establish a new crop of top women stars within the company. I think the next champion should be Roxanne Perez. I'm a little biased when I say Roxanne Perez. She was actually one of my first ever interviews during the pandemic when I first started doing interviews, then known as Roxy, still the prodigy. She was one of my first ones, and I really appreciate the time that she gave me. So I have a little bias. We even had this moment at WrestleMania 40 Media Row. The promo that you did where you started cutting up all the photos, did you keep a copy of those? Because like, that's a lot of memories you're kind of just wasting right there.
I mean, I have some, I still have like an album of them that I need to delete, but I'm just holding on to that a little bit. I printed them out and decided to cut them up because I just needed to let out a little bit of frustration, a little bit of anger.
Why are you so angry? Because like you've been such like this like baby face words we could use most of your entire career. So now you're just like so angry and dark all the time.
What do you mean? If
seem so
you
upset.
got your championship taken away from you a year ago and never got your rematch, wouldn't you be upset?
A little bit.
If
but
you
like
kept getting #1 contender matches and people kept sweeping the rug up from under your feet, wouldn't you be upset?
you ever thought about therapy?
You know, I'm doing my therapy. I need my championship back. That's what's gonna get me like fine and right.
She's fantastic in my opinion. I think she's one of the most elite wrestlers, especially for her age. I would imagine she's probably the youngest main roster star in WWE right now, and she's already held the tag team titles. The next step for her doesn't even feel like the Intercontinental title. It feels like because she's there to replace Liv Morgan, because she's in that role that Liv Morgan was serving, what's a bigger insult to Liv Morgan than for her to literally come into the group, taking her spot, taking her tag partner, taking the women's tag team titles, and then taking the women's world championship. And then Dom. I don't know if Dom's the direction they're actually really going with this anymore, but she's very clearly there to still replace Liv Morgan. And I feel like that's gonna be a huge storyline going into 2026. So what's a better way to make Roxanne feel like a bigger deal leading into that big year, because Liv will probably come back at the Royal Rumble, than to give her the title that Liv was really good at elevating. I don't see a reason why Roxanne shouldn't be the women's world champion before this year closes, but especially while there's a void of a heel champion in the women's division. That's just my take though. What's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. Should Roxanne Perez be the next women's world champion, or should it be someone else? You tell me. My name is Malcolm, and we're out.